the summit celebrating India. That's basically an amazing thought. So just introducing ourselves, I'm Yashraj Bharadwaj this side, and this is Yuvraj Bharadwaj. We both are 20 years old right now, and we run a couple of companies into IT and into a private equity fund that we were running. So we're based out of Delhi and Dubai. Just starting with our personal journey before, our story started back in year 2007. I would probably stand and talk about it. So our journey started back in 2007, wherein we used to play a lot of street cricket, and I'm sure all of you must have done that as well. So luckily, our father got us into LB Shastri Cricket Academy, that's there in Bharat Nagar in Delhi, and we started playing professionally. But the family background that we are coming from is like sort of I would say that we are coming from a very humble background. So हर middle class parent का एक mindset होता है that their kids should do something जहाँ पर their life should have some stability, right? And they should be, living a certain stable lifestyle and economically well financed for themselves. So our parents had the similar kind of mindset. Fortunately, unfortunately, we have been toppers in the school throughout. So they wanted us to leave cricket aside and focus on cricket aside and focus on studies only, so that we could do UPSC or we could become doctors and engineers. So being in fifth grade, that point of time, we used to go to the school in the morning and then come back by 2 o'clock. We were suddenly very free. Then Bhai started going through a lot of research journals. Our interest came into astrophysics, and then we started reading a lot of research articles, a lot of books. Sunday there is a book market that takes place in Nariaganj every Sunday, wherein you can buy out second-hand books at a very cheaper cost. So we used to go every week, to get a bunch of books for ourselves, and we started developing a reading habit. After like a certain time of 6-7 months, we got some idea into the field of astrophysics, that we started writing down some review paper in that how we can travel the time and all of that. एक problem जो हमने उस time पर encounter करी वो ये थी कि that a lot of, when you are young, then people actually really underestimate you, and they underestimate your caliber, they underestimate your knowledge, and they actually don't respond you that well. They don't take you that seriously. We used to write down to a lot of professors, a lot of scientists about our doubts and everything, and कहीं से हमारे को reply आता भी था, but कहीं से reply नहीं आता था, and we certainly wanted that to happen with us. Then Bhai again came up with a very innovative idea of making fake IDs of girls on Facebook. Now what we did was, using these IDs, we used to send friend requests to these professors, and now we literally made Kareena Kapoor asking doubts of quantum mechanics to these guys, and that's how we could help ourselves. And certainly also we got in touch with good professors like Lawrence Krauss, Stephen Hawking from University of Cambridge, and we wrote down our first review paper. And finally, when we were in 6th class, early days, that was how we can make a nucleon to travel the time. And that was a starting point of research point, something structure for us. After this, sort of a couple of media houses covered us. So just stating a fact that from 6th class onwards, we haven't taken a single penny from our mom, dad. Whatever be the school fees, whatever be the fees for our books, the clothes, we wanted to fund it on our own. Never wanted to be dependent on my parents. So we enrolled ourselves into Pragati Maidan Science Museum. We used to get a fellowship of around 1500 rupees per month as research category scholars. And 1500 rupees mahina is a very big amount for a 6th class student to manage for the DTC bus pass and a chole kulcha outside every day. So that life was very, going really well. But certainly after a span of time, he started realizing that as being a researcher is very important to fund ourselves, is very important to have a financial model in everything. Because the only reason that number of researchers are lacking in India is the problem that research is a very less paid job. That's why parents don't want their children to do research, and they want them to make money. So एक हमारा certain shift आया. After focusing from astrophysics, we read one research paper into water purification system, and within 2 years of working hard on that project with this 1500 rupees per month thing, we started developing that water purification system, which was called Bajra purifier. अब ये जो 2 साल का time period था, इसमें we were actually dealing it was very difficult for us to deal with funds. So then we both came, I would also take some credibility in this that we both came with an idea of going to a school now, because एक school fees हमारी उस time पर 25 रुपए महीना जाती थी, and I think that was the biggest burden that we had. We went to the school guys and we told them कि बाजू वाला school हमें free में admission दे रहा है, and they are gonna give us attendance of ऐसा कुछ था नहीं, because they are seeing a vision in us देसी कि हम जो भी मीडिया हमारे को कवर करता है उसके साथ we gonna attach their school's name. So next year during the time of admissions they will flaunt these newspaper articles and they will make money from the parents. So we told them you make it the business model. If you waive off the fees for us, if you give us the attendance off, and if you give us a very small office space, we will market your school free of cost in all of the media articles that we would be getting covered. And fortunately, we were able to crack the first deal of ours, and we never went to school that often really after 6th standard. Now, after doing this all of research and developing that Bajra purification water system, so there was this company called Target Corporation based in US. They're next to Walmart. They approached us. They called us Bangalore that point of time. I think that was the first time we sat in the plane, and that was the first time we got a chance to stay at a 5-star property. If I start discussing about that, the experiences and the things that we did there, it's gonna be another talk. So I'm not gonna go to that tangent. But so Target उस moment पर they were started negotiating. The project was that we were using Bajra, that the pearl millet, to purify and extract heavy metals out of the water. So we were literally purifying water and also mining. We were doing mining of the heavy metals out of the water at the same time. This project was so successful because it was nearly 10 times cheaper to current purification methods, and it was 98.6% accurate, efficient. That nobody, could do it. So we filed a PCT patent application that point of time, and Target asked us that if we want to take up this project for next 20 years, what would be the fees? At that point of time, we had no mindset and no knowledge about what financial model, what business plan is something like. We just straight away went and we told them we would expect a sum of 11 crores per year out of you guys. वो 11 करोड़ बोलने का रीजन कुछ नहीं था, वो यही था कि as we come from a Hindu family, so we always do shagun of 11 रुपए, 21 रुपए, 51 रुपए and all of that. So we just came up with a mindset कि I will take 11 crore and per year as a license fee for next 20 years if you want to pick the project. They started negotiating, and I got a very good negotiator with us, and he could crack a deal at 7.5 crores per year for next 20 years. So we were 15 at that point of time. That's how we made our first $1 million when we were 15. And now, thank you so much. Now, after going through all these things, and we developed more and more research projects, brain-computer interface we did. So right now, we have like around 18 patents on our personal name, 36 research projects we have worked on. We have 12 companies based out of 6 countries that we are doing. These 350 researchers who are working for us. And we have around 100 plus patents in the company that we own. Other than this, we got Karmaveer Chakra in 2016. We have been TEDx Delhi speakers, and we have been to Forbes list from past 2 years. So that's sort of a personal journey and all of that. Now I'm gonna hand over the mic to Yuvraj to just bore you a bit about his research thoughts. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, thank you, Yash. So, when we talk about our country celebrating India and why research is necessary to drive the new India, why innovation is necessary to do that, let me go back and tell you some demographics. 65% of the population of this country is under 35, 50% of the population is under 25, and roughly 40% is under 19. There was a recent survey being done by Labor Association of the World that how the country is going to grow and everything. We are at such a miraculous stage right now that what China did in last decade, we can do in the coming decade. Because the Labor Association survey says that in next decade, China can empower roughly 94 million people to do work who are aged between 21 to 24. But India can empower 168 million people to work who are aged between 21 to 24. But the only problem, where we are lacking in this whole system is the education system. When we talk about our education system, it's about learning things, vomiting on a piece of paper, and getting some marks, qualifying with them, and pushing you to the next stage. If we talk about education specifically, by 2025, we are capable of enough to hold up roughly around 250 million of youth, which will be 40% of the world's population that time. But if we see our current growth pattern, we cannot reach more than 125 million. So there'll be roughly 125 million students that time who will not even have space to sit and learn. because we'll be out of the infra capabilities which we can make that time. So, we need an alternate education system. That's a key. That's a key when we say research, innovation, we need alternate education system which aligns more on questioning rather than answering, which aligns more on practical knowledge rather than rote learning and theoretical knowledges. So what we say about researchers, short-term recurring jobs, less paid salaries, no fixed life structure, these are the three problems a basic researcher face. So when we designed a business plan completely, we try to empower a researcher with these three answers to go forward. When I talk about how innovation in research gonna scale in India, we need to have a fixed mindset. When I talk about research, people say, oh, the guy must be minimum of 30 years of old because we expect a PhD holder to do research. If I talk about average PhD age in this country is roughly 30-year-old and average marriage age is 24. When a person is getting married at 24 and expecting a child by 26, 27, that's the average of our country, and we expect the person to do research by 30, which is a less paid job. So ultimately, a researcher's mind diverts from making products, doing research, to earning money for his family. So we say the best age to tap in to get new ideas and new research starts from 16 and goes up to 24. That's the best area to do that. Secondly, we talk about the state market society, three of the sectors who are prevailing in the Indian market right now, corporates, government, all of them are relying on institutional research. They are not relying on research which can be bring up into the market. 40% of the world's patents filed all across the world, they don't come into the market. 40% of the patents. So we try to solve that problem out by making a business plan, a proposition in which we can, make a product, value this product on other person's saving. Because every businessman in India is with the Lala mindset. They say, I'm doing $1 million business and I can't give you more than 10% profits. Because it means rather than their own money, they focus on other person's money. So we developed a business plan in such a way that when we make a research project, like recently we make a new research project, we made the world's cheapest ECG machine, cheapest and the smartest. It's a this much size ECG machine, half of your smartphone, which can do your ECG by just touching the device. It's a FDA approved device, 99% accurate. It can do your ECG, blood pressure, heart rate, SpO2, all of the medical checkups, including temperature in a single go. So we propose this device to be placed in hospitals and replace a complete medical setup. How we did that? We created a business story that when we talk about making a new hospital, for me, a cost of installing all medical devices on per bed is roughly 250,000 rupees. Wherein this device cost only 20,000 rupees. So what we say, we are saving roughly 230,000 rupees of yours. What I need is take this device free of cost. Use it for a year. What you pay me is 10 to 50% of your savings every year. So that's how we revamped our business plan and people started to accept our solutions and everything. We talk about the current situation. We are having a lot of corporates, a lot of government for which we are working on designing solutions for them real time. I am mostly based in Dubai, Hong Kong. He's based in India. But where we see the vision right now is still we are very far from making research available for everyone. When research will be available for everyone, there'll be people who will come on board and start to do that. It's very necessary. When we talk about scaling up India, driving new product, new technologies, if we are aiming to be a $5 trillion country by the next half a decade, we need to empower R&D, we need to empower manufacturing. If manufacturing and research and development, they're not included in the business ecosystem of our country, our economy will never going to scale. We'll be just a trade country like something like Hong Kong who can clash at any time, any point of stage. So I always say, instead of living a life on credits, it's better we come out of our houses, do research, invent new products, open up a manufacturing, develop a product, scale it, invest it, sell it, and make business profitable, and ultimately empower researchers. Because researcher is the one person who can drive innovation, who can drive a country to an extent wherein we have not thought of. If we talk about United States, that's roughly 634 researchers per million people. If you talk about India, that's 23 researchers per million people. We have institutions, we have labs, we have funds. What we don't have is a good mindset. So a good set of question, a good mindset, a dedicated efforts. That's what the three things we need to empower research, drive India, and celebrate after 5 years again that we are the top innovators of the world. Thank you.